In this episode, episode 5, we are going to talk about how to multiply and divide fractions. Now, when you're multiplying fractions together, the process is very simple. If you are multiplying two fractions together, then all you have to do is separately multiply together the two numerators and the two denominators. Multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. Once you have done that, our final step is just to check to see if the answer can be simplified. And if you can simplify the answer, it's always a good idea to do so. To give you an example of how fractions are multiplied, if I said, for example, I'm thinking about doing 1 over 3 times 1 over 4, 1/3 of 1/4 of a pizza, for example, 1/3 of 1/4. Let's see what results from that. So, if I take 1/3 times 1/4, our instructions tell us that all you have to do is multiply the two numerators, 1 times 1, and multiply the two denominators, 3 times 4. Multiply the two numerators and multiply the two denominators, and we get 1 over 12. And 1 over 12 is what we would get if we multiplied 1/3 and 1/4. And this makes sense, I think. If we had 1/3 of 1/4 of a pizza, if I start with my pizza looking roughly like this, cut into 4 pieces, and I have one of those 4s, and if I cut that 4th into thirds, to take 1/3 of that 1/4, then I'm left with one piece out of what is now pieces of size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. One piece out of essentially 12 pieces. 1 out of 12. So this is 1/3 of times 1/4. 1/3 of 1/4, 1/12 in the end. Now, we remember that multiplication could be represented symbolically in a bunch of different ways. So, although it's traditional to use the times symbol with fractions, you might also see this dot symbol used from time to time. 4 over 7 dot 2 over 9. It's the same idea though. All you have to do is take the two numerators and multiply them together. Take the two denominators and multiply them together, and then we get 8 over 63. Now, 1 over 12 definitely can't be simplified because 1 is already as small as it could possibly get. But let's check to see if 8 over 63 can be simplified. If I look at my table, I don't think that I see any entries that have both 1 and 63. 63 really is only appearing in one row, this one and looks like this one down here. But those rows don't have 8 in them. So I think that 63 definitely does not share any numbers in common with 8 that can be divided out. So this is as simple as it gets, and this would be my final answer here. What about 3 over 4 times 2 over 6? Once again, all I have to do is multiply my two numerators together and multiply my two denominators together. And 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 6 is 24, so I get 6 over 24. So now I will check to see if I can simplify this answer at all. So I will go into my table and I will check to see, can I find an entry that has both 6 and 24 in it? And I think that I can. 6 and 24 appear in this row with 3. And look, it also appears in this row with 6 and 24 in this row labeled 6. So 6 goes into 6 one time, and 6 goes into 24 four times. And so I can divide both the 6 and 24 by 6 to get an answer that's the same as what I got before. It just looks a little nicer. The same number, it just looks nicer. Let's do some more practice. Someone says to me, what is half of 14 over 3? So here's that keyword of that corresponds to multiplication. And I have 1/2 of 14 over 3. I'll multiply my two numerators together. I'll multiply my two denominators together. And I get 14 in the numerator and 6 in the denominator. Now I will check to see if I can simplify this result, 14 over 6. So I will check to see, can I think of a number that divides both 14 and 6 evenly? Well, I think that 2 goes into both of these numbers. And so if I divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2, I get 7 over 3. And I think that is as simple as it gets. And finally, another way to talk about multiplication is to use the word product. So I could say, what is the product of 1 over 3 and 6 over 7? That's just another way of asking you to multiply. So once again, it's just 1 times 6 in the numerator and 3 times 7 in the denominator. 1 times 6 is 6. 3 times 7 is 21. And let's check to see if this can be simplified at all. Let's think about, is there a number which goes into both 6 and 21? If I look in the table, if I look for a row that contains both 6 and 21, I think I see one right here. 6 and 21 appear in the row labeled 3. So 3 goes into 6 2 times, and 3 goes into 21 7 times. And so if I divide both the numerator and the denominator by 3, I get 2 over 7. And I think that's as simple as it gets.